In this video, we're going to find out why someone with no family earning $82,000 a year can't afford to save up for a home. Hashtag first world problems. Sometimes my civilian friends, aka my real life friends, will send me questions or ideas on video topics. Now, if I'm being honest, they're usually pretty dumb ideas, but don't tell them I said that. Lo and behold, these skies must have opened up because one of them finally sent me something that I found interesting that I figured you might get some value out of. My buddy came across someone saying how they make $82,000 per year, and it feels like they barely have enough money left over every month to save up for the down payment on a house and grad school as well. This person broke down his monthly expenses so we can get an idea of where his money is going because he must be spending an outrageous amount somewhere. I don't know the name of this person, so we're just going to call him Luke because I like Star Wars and why not? First, let's get the whole grad school advice thing out of the way. I think for most people, going to grad school is a complete waste of money. Now, there's of course exceptions, but I personally know 5 people in my life that have done it, and they told me that it was a complete waste of time for them. The only way I'd say to go for it is if you have to do it to advance in your career, or if your employer is just going to pay for it. If neither of those things apply to you, then don't waste your time and money. Now let's get into trying to figure out how we can find this guy some extra money to start saving up to buy a house. By the way, please do me a huge favor and Hulk smash that thumbs up button for me and of course my beautiful dog Molly, who is right now sleeping on my foot so I can't really move. As we go through these numbers, feel free to leave a comment down below if you have some additional ideas on how he can free up some more cash. I have a very small brain, so I'm sure there's going to be some things that I'll miss. I actually really had a lot of fun going through this person's finances to see how he could optimize them. So if you want me to do this for your finances and make a video on it, then I'll leave a link down in the description of this video to a Google form that you can fill out and send to me. Your personal info, of course, will be kept anonymous, so don't worry. Okay, now it's time to go through each line of his expenses to see what's really happening here. His salary comes out to $6,833 per month, less $2,000 in taxes, leaves him with $4,833 left over every single month. His miscellaneous expenses equal $150 per month, which include things like entertainment. Now, this doesn't seem outrageous to me, so there's really nothing to see here. His monthly average for healthcare costs are about $150 per month, which is fine. There's really nothing you can do about that. It is what it is, and he has to spend what he has to spend on his out-of-pocket health insurance every month. When it comes to food, he is at $200 per month. Now, to someone like me, this seems really low for one person, but I have heard of a lot of people who make it happen on this amount every single month. As long as he's able to eat good, quality, healthy food on this budget, then more power to him. But if not, then I would say to not feel bad about increasing from $200 to $300 if it's going to get you healthier food every single month. I think spending a little more to get healthy food is underappreciated and overlooked a lot. It could end up costing you a lot less on future health bills if you spend a little more to make sure that you're eating healthier today. One thing I didn't see in here, which might be accounted for someone else, is of course a gym membership. Now, if you know anything about me, I'm big on physical exercise, so if that's not being taken care of, then I would say to spend a little bit of money on it. For his phone bill, it looks like he's spending $20 per month. Now, I personally think that I'm paying something like $60 per month for my phone bill, but if you're able to do everything that you need to do on $20 per month, then that's great. Transportation, he is at $100 per month, which is really good as well. Now, that's so low that there's no way this includes gas, insurance, and a car payment, so he either takes public transportation or he must not have a car payment. If he doesn't have a car payment, then I would suggest starting to put money aside for that next car. The transportation piece only makes up about 2% of Luke's take-home pay, which is very well below average. Utilities is at $150 per month. Now, there's really nothing to call out here because that probably is what it is, and it seems like a very reasonable amount. Just thinking about trying to save money in this area brings me flashbacks to when I used to live with my sisters. They wouldn't let me touch the thermostat during the winter or summer months just because they wanted to save some money. Looking back on it now, it was the dumbest thing ever because none of us were extremely poor. Healthcare premium is $250 per month. Now, it looks like he has a high deductible health plan. His rental insurance is $15 per month because he lives in an apartment. And this is definitely an expense that you have to have if you're renting. That's about how much I think that I paid back when I was renting a house in college. We absolutely needed it though because we had what what you would call a big-time party house. There were so many random people in and out of that house that were constantly stealing things, and everything in the house basically got destroyed. Trust me, you didn't want to be the landlord of the house that me and my buddies lived in. It was a complete nightmare. When it comes to rent, he is at $900 per month. He mentioned how he has 3 roommates, so that means that they're possibly paying about $3,600 per month if everything is split evenly. I don't know about where you're from, but where I'm from and in a few other medium cost of living cities that I checked can get you a really nice place, so he must be balling out right now. Luke said that he would like to get an apartment of his own in a few years, which would cost about $1,200 per month, but we'll talk about that in just a minute. That covers the expenses, which add up to $1,935 per month and 40% of his income. Now, if you've been doing the math on your own, you could probably see where this is going. Let's talk about Luke's investments. When it comes to his HSA, he's currently maxing it out at $300 per month. Now, if you've watched any of my HSA videos, then you'll know how much I absolutely love them because of the triple tax savings and the ability to invest the money within the account. Above my head and in the description, I'll link up my HSA videos to show you how you could potentially grow one into a $300,000 plus tax-free investment account. When it comes to his Roth IRA, he is maxing it out at $500 per month, which is another great decision. I always say to make sure that you max this account out before a 401k because of the tax-free growth and a few other reasons as well. I'll link up all of my Roth IRA videos in the description and at the end of this video as well. Then we have the Roth 401k, which is being maxed out at $1,625 per month, which totals $19,500 per year. Luke is investing 50% of his income every single month with an extra $473 left over, which means that he has a savings rate of 60%. Let me be clear, 60% is a lot for anyone. That is insane. Absolutely nuts. That's a big time W in my opinion, so congrats on that. It helps that he doesn't have any money going towards bad debt, which is really good for someone that's 31. Since we've gone over all of that info, now we can start going through some of the different financial levers that he can pull to save up more money faster for the down payment on a home. $473 is all he has left over, which is about $5,700 per year. First thing I would say to do is to start building up a little bit of an emergency fund if you don't have one already before even thinking about saving up for a home. I know this is a really annoying step and will most likely push out the date that you can afford to buy a house, but the last thing that you want is to run into some random emergencies that you can barely afford once you own a home. Since he doesn't have a family, a simple 3-month fund would be perfectly fine. The first lever that I would say to pull is to switch some, if not all, of his 401k contributions from a Roth 401k to a traditional 401k. This will immediately reduce his taxable income, which will net him more money every single month. Remember that you contribute to a traditional 401k with pre-tax money, and you contribute to a Roth 401k with money that's already been taxed. With a traditional 401k, you're basically saying that you'll pass on paying taxes on that money today and agreeing to pay taxes on the money within the account when you retire and start withdrawing money from that account. With a Roth 401k, you're agreeing to pay taxes on the money before it goes into the account today, so that the IRS isn't allowed to tax the money ever again once you withdraw the money in retirement. All the tinfoil hat people out there will say that the government will probably eventually come for this money in your Roth 401k by taxing it again, but in my honest opinion, just ignore those people. If a politician tried to pass that type of bill, then that would be a one-way ticket to never getting voted into office ever again. And we know all those scumbags care about is continuing to get elected for the rest of their lives. So if Luke decides to put all of it into a traditional 401k, then his taxable income before other deductions will drop by $19,500 from $82,000 per year down to $62,500 per year. Just doing rough math, that would free up what we'll call about $450 per month. Now, it could be a little higher, but we're just going to go on the conservative side and call it $450 per month, which is an additional $5,400 per year. Add this to the $473 per month that he's already saving, and that yearly amount left over grows from $5,700 per year to about $11,100 per year. There you go. We just doubled the amount of his available cash every single month by making that one change. Keep in mind that this isn't even anything that he has to do for a long period of time if he's really sold on contributing to that Roth 401k. He can switch over from a Roth to a traditional 401k for a few years to save up some extra cash for that down payment, then move back into that Roth 401k. An argument could be made for wanting to have some money in a traditional and some money in a Roth in retirement because it gives you more flexibility to pull from each of those accounts depending on spending needs and to reduce taxes. The next lever that Luke could pull is to just reduce his overall 401k contributions for a few years to save up for that down payment. I'm not saying to completely stop contributing, but if he wanted to lower it by, we'll say, $500 per month and continue investing in his Roth 401k, then there shouldn't be a big issue with that. He's already doing a really good job by investing 50% of his income. I don't know how much he already has invested or what his goal is for how much he wants to have invested by the time he retires, but since he's 31, let's just assume that he wants to retire at 65 and he currently has $0 invested. Probably not the case because I have a feeling he has at least a little bit of money invested, but let's do some quick math. If between his 401k, IRA, and HSA, he's investing that same $2,425 every month for the next 35 years into a simple, low-cost total stock market index fund at a 7% annual return, then by the time he's 65, he'll have about $4 million in those investment accounts. I'd argue that he's probably way ahead of the game and would be fine reducing the amount that he's investing for a few years just to save up for that home. Once he has money set aside for that house, he can bump the contributions back up until he wants to start saving for something else. There's a balance that we all need to figure out between enjoying life now and setting yourself up for the future. You don't always want to swing in one direction or the other too hard if you don't have to. I'm in the middle of a mini retirement right now. Before I started this mini retirement, I had a savings rate of, I think it was 83% or 87%, whatever it was. So for at least the next 12 months, I'm not investing as much as I would be if I still worked in corporate America. Does this potentially reduce the amount of money that I'll have in retirement? Possibly, but it's not going to reduce it by enough to where it's going to leave me in the poorhouse, you know? Now, if you're trying to pursue something like financial independence or early retirement as quickly as possible, then in that case, it would make sense to shove as much money as possible into those retirement accounts. But I still think that it would be okay to back off for a few years while you save up for a house, then get back to pumping a ton of money into those accounts to reach financial independence or early retirement. One thing I'd suggest Luke think about, and even you watching this, is to potentially purchase a home that needs a little bit of work. It doesn't have to be a major fixer-upper, but enough to where you can get a decent deal. As you're living there, you can slowly get things fixed up. Then, once you decide to upgrade to the next home, you can use that first home as a rental property, or you could just flip it for more money. Let's be honest, the first home that you buy usually isn't the home that you're going to be in once you retire, so there's no reason to overpay right off the rip and try to check all of those boxes for that perfect home. Getting a higher paying job, trying to get a raise at work, or doing some sort of side hustle are other great ways to make some additional money every single month to save up for the down payment on that home a lot faster. Making money outside of my full-time job has always been a part of my life for as long as I can remember, so maybe it's just second nature to me. I know not everyone is used to that kind of lifestyle, but if you can spend a couple hours every single week working on a side hustle that nets you, we'll say, a couple $100s per month, then that money will add up very quickly. I'm also of the opinion that you shouldn't stay at the same job for too long because it'll usually hinder your ability to get those large salary increases. If Luke started to look for another job, then I wouldn't be surprised if he could bump up his salary by at least $10,000 per year. I was just talking with someone that I know recently who took a job with another company and increased her yearly salary by $50,000 per year. There you go. That would be another way to save up some more money for the down payment on a house. Make sure to check out the description for more resources on personal finance, investing, and financial independence as well. Please hit that thumbs up button before you go. I'll see you in the next one, friends. Done.